Alright. You the best one, since so many games are revealed speak to you as a retro fanatic. See, I... be too much work to dig it up, but I recently bought Ghost Trick for the DS, and I also recently bought Batten Kaitos. So I just got burned twice, basically, for buying older games when I could have just waited and got the newer ones for cheaper. So it kind of sucks for me. But it's still cool. You know, I might still buy the Batten Kaitos game so that I can have the second one as a remaster. Maybe I'll just play them both remastered and be like, I have the original now. Mistress, please answer something, anything. If something were to happen to you, I cry out. Oh, everyone's really freaking out. Hey, maybe I should pretend to be Bazella. I can be all like, silence, minions. Indeed, I wonder what could have happened here. Maybe she turned her visitor into a gold statue. Hopefully this one doesn't lose an arm. Hey. Maya doesn't match Layton's style. Don't feel like they can even make a good dynamic between each other. Well, that's because, you know, they're both from different games, you know? Maya is like the crazy to Phoenix's attorney. That's just how it's gotta be. Y'all could have one Wii game ported to Switch. What would it be? For you, it'd be Sin and Punishment Star Successor. A Wii game. A Wii game. What Wii games have I played? Give me a second here. I played The Last Story, Pandora's Tower, Arcry. Xenoblade Chronicles 1, I think was already ported. I'm gonna go with Arcry's Fantasia. Blah. My task is quite an important one. That's a ridiculously huge pot. I wonder what they're cooking in here. You, stop. Do not interfere with my task. Sorry, I won't. There appear to be 2 pots, each with a different substance being cooked. Oh, check that out, Professor. The color changed. How'd they do that? While I agree the change in color is rather peculiar, I'm more interested in its smell. I have a strange feeling I've smelled this very same odor somewhere before. Yeah, now that you mention it, it does seem kind of familiar, doesn't it? Oh dear. Red flour, mix and stir. Red flour, mix and stir. Red flour. What? I'm out. No more stirring. No more mixing. Are those not red flowers in that basket over there? Red flowers, yes. I'm restocked. Back to mixing. Back to stirring. Flower blooms just off the shore of the lake, does it not? It would seem your task is to mix these red flowers into the pot. Is that right? Red flour, mix and stir. Boy, he's seriously concentrating so hard he can't even afford to have a conversation. The wonderful weather today, wouldn't you say? Red flower, mix and stir. Ever the social butterfly, Miss Faye. Interestingly enough, there were initial plans to put Curious Village on Switch back in 2019 following the mobile ports. Batten Kaitos 1 and 2 are coming to Switch, true? Kinda crazy. If you have never played those games, I've never played them either. I hear Grayson has some thoughts about, I think, the first game. I don't know exactly which Batten Kaitos game it is, but he has some thoughts towards it, and I think they're on the negative side. But when I saw it was like a card battle, I was like, dang, man, I didn't know this was a card battle game. But oh well. Oh, mistress, please answer. What could have happened? Excuse me, but could you perhaps tell us what's going on here? We heard a loud noise from the mistress's room just a moment ago. We called out to her, but there was no answer. There was nothing, no answer at all. This isn't like her. A loud noise, huh? Maybe that was the sound of the Great Witch being attacked. No, to harm one as beautiful as her, what barbarian would do such a thing? But if she was attacked, then that means the attacker is still... Just thinking about it is making me shake in my robe. Alright guys, first things first, we've got to get this door open. You are welcome to try, but we have already exhausted our options. You see, only the mistress has the key to this door. However, if something has happened, we had better hurry. How terrifying. I mean, please help us, but how utterly terrifying. You have a puzzle. Mix equal measures of blue and red. I can't do it. Shade's task is proving to be quite challenging for her. Isn't her task to mix the red and blue liquids together? Yes, they must be combined in equal measures, but no matter how many times I try, I cannot get it. Please, can you help me? Want us to help? Must admit, I'm quite fascinated by the mixing process at work here. Very well, let us give her a helping hand. Ooh, it's a mixing one. These ones tend to be pretty fun. Fill the 8-liter container with the Shade's top secret green glowing potion. It takes equal measures of blue and red to make the secret potion. Any other ratio will create an explosive black potion. Touch a container to fill it. Be careful not to overfill. And can you overfill? To pour the liquid between the containers, touch a container filled with liquid and then touch the container you wish to pour that liquid into. You can only pour as much liquid as the container will allow. Then we can't overfill, sucker. Okay, this is not as interactive as the ones from the past.
Allow me to show you my puzzle-solving skills.
It's like that, I guess.
Expect no less from a gentleman.
Those 40 pick-a-rats? I think I did that in probably the least amount of moves possible. Success. But just what is this used for, anyway? You did it. You actually did it. I knew you could do it, Professor. Our shade friend here looks pretty pleased. This liquid, it has a most mysterious glow. I wonder what type of dye they used. And yet the scent, it smells oddly familiar. Perhaps I smelled it when arriving in this town. Oh, I believe I smelled the scent before that even. Mistress! What's wrong? Quite a bit of commotion coming from the entrance to that room. I believe something may have happened. Quickly, Miss Faye. Right. Let's save. Ghost Trick is the one you had a feeling about thanks to the leak back in November. I remember you telling me about it. I even said it when I was watching the direct. I was like, wow, Epic Otter was right, and I should have listened. Although I think it was too late to listen at that time. I think I had already bought it, but should have told me earlier, Epic Otter. Before even I knew. Can you click on these? You will be getting either the Switch version or the PlayStation version. Also, getting an extra copy for Tragic since she has never played the game and you have a feeling it would be up her alley. Just use some kind of measurement cup. Literally have 2 glasses of the same volume. Aside from that, why not actually get appropriate tools to do this often? Unnecessary comment about illogical game, got carried away. Sometimes, I mean, we haven't come across too many Layton puzzles in this game, which is a good thing. But, you know, sooner or later we're going to come up against a Layton puzzle, and it's not going to make any sense. Excuse me. What gives? Could you please not scare me like that? Our apologies. There seems to be a great many of you gathered here. Has something happened inside? Something did happen. Oh, I cannot even think about it. It's just so horrible. So what is this horrible thing that happened? The mistress, the great witch, she's gone. What? Gone? What? I'm gonna save again. Well, mistress, I knew something was destined to happen. I felt a premonition most disturbing. How? How did this happen? I saw no one enter or leave this room. The entrance to the room was sealed shut. Where could she have gone? Oh, we can investigate that later. I gotta look for some hint coins. Like, the drag here is kind of crazy, but if I go down here, like, look at this drag. This is very little movement on the 3DS, but up here is like crazy movement. Or like, I need to move it like halfway down the screen. Very, very odd. All hint coins have been gathered. Red liquid managed to get sprayed throughout quite a bit of the room. From the looks of this place, the Great Witch definitely had her hands full, but what happened? This place definitely screams something serious just went down, doesn't it? Certainly seems so, Miss Faye. Unfortunately, the culprit seems to have disappeared. Curtain hanging from this wall appears to have suffered a single tear down the middle. Wait, Professor, let me just check. Alright, it's clear. No one's hiding behind the curtain. And I guess we're talking to the person. That's... well, no kidding, Professor. It would seem the Shades made quite the mess searching for the Great Witch. Let us inquire with everyone in the room to get a better understanding of the situation at hand. Right, how about we start with that shade over there? A good suggestion, Miss Fey. Excuse me, do you think we could ask you a couple of questions? Sure, what is it? It's not like I'm busy or anything. Could you perhaps describe to us what you saw when you entered the room? Yes, we all heard what sounded like a fight happening on the other side of the door. No matter how many times we called out to the mistress, there was no reply. We thought something might have happened to the mistress, so we forced the door open. But when we got inside, she was nowhere to be found. You say she was nowhere to be found, and was the door closed the whole time? Yes, it was most certainly closed, but somehow the mistress managed to disappear. So let me get this straight. She disappeared from a sealed room, and then the room was found in a big mess. Professor, you know what this means? This means magic must be behind it. This is quite the peculiar situation. The Great Witch mentioned having to meet with a visitor. Do you happen to know if that person was in this room? A visitor? I faintly remember a visitor. I do remember hearing another voice. To be honest, I didn't actually see them. And there are no other exits present in this room, is that correct? Correct. This main door is the only one. Okay, so the Great Witch and her visitor both disappeared from the room. But even with all these shades around, no one saw a single person enter or leave the room. So perhaps, Miss Fey, this visitor simply managed to stay incognito during the ensuing commotion. That is one possibility. What do you mean, Professor? No one had seen the visitor prior to the incident, so even if that person was seen in this room, clearly no one would have realized it was them. But wouldn't an outsider stick out like a sore thumb here? All of the shades are dressed the same. Indeed, any outsider would certainly stand out. I imagine the shades would be quick to apprehend them. However, what if this person were to disguise themselves as a shade? Oh, you could be right. Maybe they disguised themselves as a shade right before the others came into the room. Precisely. The rather disheveled appearance of this room would immediately draw one's attention, thus providing the perfect distraction for the culprit to hide. Okay, so where is this visitor now? No one has left the room since we entered. Therefore, he or she must still be in this very room. Alright then, let's hurry up and catch him. In order to do that, we must question everyone currently present in the room and gather some information. What do you mean? My apologies for troubling you once again. Could you please gather everyone who entered the room? Yes, right away. Did the professor explain how he got out of the gold? No. He just said he woke up and he was not in gold anymore. 5 shades entered the room. It is unknown who entered first. Touch the letters A through E on the touchscreen to see each of the shades' comments. Listen carefully and work out the order that they all entered the room. The first shade that entered the room is the culprit. Alright. Last time one of these puzzles occurred, I failed miserably, so I expect to fail miserably here as well. I'm going to do this first. Alright. A, one of the small ones came third. Okay. Alright, that does not work. He who stood ahead of me did not resemble me in size nor stature. Okay. We won't make change yet. My robes were stained with the red liquid as I was carrying out my given task. It is unrelated. I was last to arrive. Those whose robes were stained with colored liquid were somewhere in front and behind me. There was already someone in front of me when I arrived. A little one trailed behind me. He who stood ahead of me did not resemble me in size nor stature. But ahead of me. Those whose robe was stainless. Front and behind. Or somewhere in front and behind me. That's not helpful. I mean, I guess that means that you're not on the ends. I was stained with red liquid. It was a carrying out a given task. It is unrelated. I was last to arrive. So do something like that first. When the small ones came third. There was already someone in front of me when I arrived. The little one trailed behind me. He who stood ahead of me did not resemble me in size nor stature. His robes were stained with the color liquid somewhere in front and behind me. Robes were blah blah blah. I was last to arrive. This seems to be correct. I'm gonna submit it.
Let's see if I've proven myself.
Yeah.
Ah, the joy of solving puzzles.
The joy of solving puzzles.
Great, solid detective work. It turned out the larger shade was the culprit all along.
It would appear you are not quite the same as the other shades present in this room. The one who was in this room with the Great Witch was you, was it not?
Impressive work, Sir Top Hat.
Sounds like...
What? Well, what are you doing here?
The Great Witch's visitor was in fact you, Inquisitor Barnum.
I have to say, that logic of yours is still as keen as ever, Sir Top Hat.
Logic coupled with careful, precise thinking can topple any mystery. So tell us, what exactly are you doing here in this place?
I might ask the same of the two of you. How can it be that both of you are still alive? You were turned into a gold statue, and was she not sent to the flames as a witch?
Hey, I am not a witch.
This must be the Great Witch's handiwork as well.
What? No way. Inquisitor Barnum? Did you kill the Great Witch?
What on earth are you talking about? I remember doing no such thing.
You wretched liar. What have you done with the mistress?
Spare me. The condition of this unkempt room is but the result of its equally unkempt master.
Insolence! None shall speak ill of the mistress!
Please stay calm. Inquisitor Barnum, please tell us the state in which you found this room. Tell us what happened here.
It would seem the presence of an Inquisitor has fouled the atmosphere with the stench of distrust. Very well. I will tell you what I know.
Really like Barnham. Barnham's voice reminds you of Sir Prince from Final Fantasy XIV, Emmerich. I don't think it's the same guy. It could be, but his voice seems pretty, pretty solid. When it's around. I did not think the situation would devolve into such a state. I only came seeking the one that could cast some light on the doubts that plague my mind. And just who is this mysterious one? You cannot say. Very well. Please continue, Inquisitor. I followed them and was led here to this strange forest. That is why I was here. So, I was actually going to say that the visitor was Barnham, but then I dismissed that idea because it's insane. You know why it's insane? It's because it requires Barnham to leave the town, and nobody ever leaves the town. So, it's insane. And here we are. It's insane. I was aiming to put a stop to whatever plan the Great Witch was attempting to concoct. So you disguised yourself in their robes and made your way here to this room in hopes of foiling her plans. All those who doubt the storyteller and speak ill of his word are a threat to all of Labyrinthia and its citizens. Of course, the witch refused to speak with me, and as I reached for my sword, I lost consciousness. Perhaps it was one of her detestable magic spells. Magic, lies, your words are nothing but lies. I am true to my word. That was what happened before you forced open the door. That is why I lost sight of the Great Witch and was left stranded in this room. I attempted to make my escape a quick one in order to avoid any unnecessary confrontations. You lost consciousness, then you did not see the Great Witch disappear, is that correct? Regrettably so. Liar, you did it, because you, the Great Witch, is... How many times must you accuse me? A court knight is always true to his word. So, are we going to have a witch trial to accuse Barnham of killing the Great Witch? And, like, Phoenix is gonna show up and he's gonna have to defend Barnham? Is that what's gonna happen here? Oh, wait, wait, how do you explain all this blood? Actually, I do not believe this is blood. What? I did not draw my sword. No blood should have been spilt. Well then, what is it? It'd be that strange liquid we saw the shades brewing earlier. Oh, I think you're right. It sure smells like it. Perhaps one of these jars containing the liquid was knocked over during the struggle. The liquid must have splattered into the middle of the room, thus creating the scene we now see before us. See, now that you mention it, it does look like there's a broken jar on the floor over there. But can there really have been no other way for the Great Witch to have escaped? According to the shades, there is not. Then the answer is clear. She must have used magic to disappear. Not quite. Magic is not the only method through which one can exit a locked room. Hey, are you saying this whole thing is like one giant puzzle, Professor? She managed to disappear out of a locked room with no other apparent exits. What other method could there be? Regardless, we must search the room thoroughly for any clues. You got it, Professor. I'm positive there's a clue or two lying around here somewhere. Indeed, Miss Faye. Shall we begin? It's on the chair. 100% the chair. Oh, what could this be? Did you find something, Professor? Miss Faye, please come and take a look at this. It's a throne. This throne does not appear to have any of the red liquid on it. It looks that way. However, if we just move this to the side... it must have gotten shoved here during Inquisitor Barnham's mad struggle. But what does this mean? This throne does not have a single drop of red liquid on it, yet the wall behind it does. Why do you think that is? Well, because the throne was in a different spot when Inquisitor Barnham was having the fight of his life. Very sound reasoning, Miss Fey. And who do you think could have moved it? Well, must have been Inquisitor Barnham when he was battling it out tooth and nail. It was not a battle fought with either teeth or nails, and I have no recollection of moving this throne at any stage. In other words, the only one who could have moved this throne was the Great Witch herself, and I believe moving this throne is in some way connected to what she did next. What she did next? Oh, you mean her little disappearing act? Wielding that logic you love so much. But remember, this is the Great Witch we are discussing. She could have easily used a magic spell to disappear. Lies, the mistress's disappearance is your doing. You will return her at once. Please bring her back to us. You detestable knight, we won't forget this. Hold on a second. Oh, where did you guys get those weapons? Tell us what really happened here. Tell us. There is nowhere for you to run. Uh-oh, this is not good. Inquisitor Barnham looks about ready to rip them to shreds. Why did the chandelier fall? Listen well, servants of the Great Witch. If you seek the truth, you must find it yourselves. Oh, no wonder Inquisitor Barnham is so famous around town. He truly is an incredible knight. Cannot waste any more time here. Must make haste and return to protect the storyteller. Sir Top Hat, it was a pleasure crossing swords with you once again. An honor, Inquisitor Barnham. Miss Fey? Yeah? Your courageous acts of bravery are worthy of my respect and admiration. Courageous acts of bravery? That's all for now. Until next time, farewell. It's very convenient that he decides to leave before we uncover the passageway that undoubtedly leads back into town and is probably leading to the Inquisitor's hall or whatever. He's gone. Perhaps the good Inquisitor has anticipated the Great Witch making another appearance. He must have thought it's more important to work out her next move rather than dwell on how she disappeared. Inquisitor Barnham is set on ensuring the storyteller's safety and continuing the fight against the witches. He is quite determined to stay true to his responsibility as an Inquisitor. Miss Fey, let us have one more good look around the room. Right, let us find some clues. We are certain to find something that can solve the mystery to how the Great Witch managed to seemingly disappear. Let's continue our investigation. Hey, Professor, look at the wall where the chair was. Doesn't it look like the wall could be a door leading to a secret passage? As I suspected, it would seem the Great Witch did not really disappear into thin air, although it is still unknown by what method she was able to make Inquisitor Barnham lose consciousness. We can assume she took advantage of the situation and escaped through the secret passage. But Professor, even if we go after her now, do you think we'd catch her? What should we do? I believe she intended for us to discover the secret passage. It would seem she has us right in the palm of her hand. However, if we are to discover the truth, we must continue to move forward. You said it. All right, let's get going, Professor. Zakafu. Zakafu. Go ahead and mark